Hi guys, how are you? Just a couple things I was thinking about that I just wanted to talk about. So, as most of us know, and if you don't, I'm going to inform you that the average percentage of Dobermans, especially from European lines that develop DCM, is a staggering 60%. Okay, so 60% of European line Dobermans at some point in their lifetime will develop DCM according to statistics today. So, of course, we're all doing things, at least the responsible ones of us are all doing things to try to decrease that number. And I just wanted to talk about it in a way to, I guess, prevent like this stigma that's out there of people like if you see one dog in a pedigree, that you should refrain from using that dog. And a lot of people have a bit of a reactive type of mentality about things, and I just wanted to break it down, at least how I see things with my medical knowledge and my background, and just realistically thinking about things. Okay, guys? So I'm going to start off with an analogy. So say you have, I'm just going to throw a name out, Catherine, and then you have Jason. Catherine and Jason are siblings, okay? They come from the same lineage, the same parents. And in their lineage, in their genetic makeup, they have a predisposition for lung cancer, okay? And at some point in their lineage, a person has died from lung cancer or, end-stage emphysema or something like that. And Catherine decides that she's going to be super healthy and she's going to eat healthy. She's going to avoid environmental pollutants as much as she can. She's going to avoid different things that could trigger any type of inflammation in her body. She's going to take supplements every day. She's going to work out. She's going to do all of these things. And Jason over here decides he's going to smoke 24 hours a day. He's going to drink alcohol. He's not going to eat very healthy. He's going to indulge in sugar binges when he wants to. And all of a sudden, at 32 years old, Catherine has a prime bill of health saying everything is excellent, and Jason unfortunately just got diagnosed with, end-stage lung cancer. Sounds kind of like a realistic situation, right? Like you have some family members that do everything right and they stay healthy, and you have some family members that unfortunately some things that were triggers, whether it be health-wise, lifestyle activities, your daily routine, or environmental exposure, that can lead to you unfortunately developing a disease due to your already predisposition. So what I'm getting at is there's a lot of people wanting to research pedigrees, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Research pedigrees, know where your lines are coming from. But also, if you see somewhere in that lineage, say there's 10 generations, that a dog died at 5 years old or a dog died at 8 years old, does that mean you completely throw out that line? Because guess what happens when you do that? When you throw out every line that has a young death, whether it be due to a cardiac issue or anything else, you're now decreasing the diversity of the Doberman as a whole. And what happens when you decrease diversity? Anytime we're decreasing diversity, we're automatically increasing the risk of congenital defects. We're automatically increasing the risk of any type of coefficient of inbreeding issue with increased percentage of inbreeding. So it's kind of like what the AKC says about von Wildebrands, about carriers essentially in general. If you have a dog that's a carrier, it shouldn't automatically be excluded from a breeding program, because we don't want to decrease the diversity that much while increasing other health issues. So I just want to stress that should you research your pedigrees and know where they're coming from? Absolutely. But should you disregard a line because of one or two in the 10 generations back that had a complication? No, because what you have to look at is what surrounded those complications. What was those dogs eating? What was their environmental exposure like? Were they in a city that's contaminated with stuff that could affect their health? Were they not getting the exercise they need? Were their parents genetically inclined for a predisposition, heart disease or liver disease or kidney disease, and they were bred either negligently or unknowingly that they had these issues? Because some of these lineages that have issues way back, were they even doing the health testing that we're doing today? You see what I'm saying? So what we do here we take into account everything. We're looking at different pedigrees, lineages for their strengths and their weaknesses, of course, all the time. But one of the things I'm focusing on is what can I do as a breeder in today, 2025, to change things for the future? What is my goal? Where am I going with it? How am I going to execute this? And I know from medical background, one of the biggest things we can do is increase diversity and decrease the congenital defects, as well as the genetic issues. Of course, we're always health testing and doing that. So we're going to look at genetic diversity. We're looking at low COIs, or percentage of inbreeding. We're looking at increasing diversity by purposefully blending European with American lines, because European lines have a 60% chance of DCM at any point in their life. American lines is 40 to 50%. Neither of them are great, right? They both suck. But if we blend the two and we're increasing diversity, naturally that number is going to come back down. So that's my goal. That's what I'm doing. I am going to do a thorough, transparent exposure of our pedigrees with a family tree and all of that, which will be on the website eventually within the next, I'm not going to give a time frame. I would say like tomorrow if I could, but you guys know I'm very, very busy. But I just see a lot of push for like excluding all these lines when it's not necessarily that's what we need to do. We need to be making the smart moves going forward to make sure that we are doing things correctly. Excluding lines, decreasing diversity is not the way to do that. We just have to be purposeful about what we're blending with lines to, basically you're exacerbating the good things while trying to decrease the bad things. That's the goal in the end, right? So if you guys have questions about that, let me know. If you want more information about what I'm talking about, let me know. But my thing is, we all are at risk, right? People, cats, birds, dogs. There's so many different genetic defects and possibilities and health complications, but we have to be looking at other things other than just a dog died at 4.5 or a dog died at 5 at one point in a 10 generation pedigree, okay? Because why did that dog die? What happened around it? What could have led to it? What could have been different to avoid it? All of these things. And do we really know the true reason of why? Because a lot of these people out here who have great pedigrees, a lot of them aren't actually reporting the death or aren't reporting the cause of death. So there's a lot of dishonesty in the breeding world, and you guys will find that out every day. Shoot, I'm finding it out every day. I'm disgusted. I'm sitting here like, I totally understand why people give breeders a bad rap, but the shit I see, the stuff that people are sending me, the things I've been reading, I get asked for advice all the time, and I get these messages, and I'm just baffled at what breeders out there are doing. And if you're a breeder and you're doing some bullshit, I'm talking to you. It's a mess, and you guys need to do better. All right, have a good day, guys. Let me know if you have questions.